And this is nothing against Dak. I don't look at Dak as having some legacy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In 8 years, no All-Pros, which is hard to do as a starter for the Cowboys. Like, people just vote on you because you play for the Cowboys. Anyway.
Shady, what the hell are you talking about? People just vote on you because you play for the Cowboys. Do you realize in Cowboys history, all the Super Bowls we have, all the championship quarterbacks we have, two of the best of all time with Troy Aikman and Roger Staubach, you realize between those two dudes, Tony Romo in there, hell, you realize between those three dudes, they have a total of 1 All-Pro, and it was a second-team All-Pro by Roger Staubach. Don't start peddling the BS that Cowboys players just get all the awards because they're Cowboys players. If that was the case, it wouldn't really be a debate this year as to Dak Prescott being first-team All-Pro and MVP.
No All-Pros, no MVPs. 8 years, you got 3 Pro Bowls. 2 of them was real Pro Bowls and 1 is an alternate. I don't really count alternates, but everybody's different.
You know what I don't count, Shady McCoy? Super Bowl rings that players carry around when they really didn't contribute at all, and all they did was keep the bench warm for the players on their team that was actually participating and helping to win said Super Bowl. That's what I don't count.
No conference game, no. I mean, a couple of, one playoff win or two?
2 and 4.
So it's like, when we say legacy,
it's real.
I guess it's how we define it.
Yeah,
I think legacy's like, yo, he a bad mother. You look at his stats.
100.
He got this, he got that, he got...
The highest completion percentage in franchise history, the highest passer rating in franchise history, the 3rd most passing yards already in franchise history for one of the most storied franchises in National Football League. That's what Dak Prescott's legacy currently is, but he's also still active. He's also only in year 8. He also just turned 30 this year, yet we're having discussions around Dak Prescott like he's 38, 39 on his way out the door, and he hasn't accomplished anything at all. What he has accomplished is statistically in the regular season, he cemented himself as one of, if not the best Dallas Cowboys quarterback in the history of the team. In the regular season, something you should know a little bit about, Shady McCoy, because it seems like you did most of your work in the regular season and in the offseason as well. But we're going to get to the offseason in just a second. But the playoffs, you brought up conference championships, Super Bowls, and how many playoff victories and performing in the playoffs and just being that dude, putting up stats is what gives you a legacy, right, Shady? Well, interesting to see that someone that believes this much in stats and being that dude on the field to build your legacy, interesting to see that a running back whose best career achievement is being the leading rusher for the Philadelphia Eagles, very similar to some of Dak Prescott's achievements that he's going to have on his legacy or resume by the time he leaves the game. But it seems like you have a hard time kind of cementing your legacy, especially when it was nut-cutting time, especially when the lights were the brightest, Shady McCoy. In Philadelphia, you played 1 game in the playoffs in 2009, rushed for 24 yards, no touchdowns. 1 game in the playoffs in 2010, rushed for 46 yards on 12 attempts, no touchdowns. 1 game in the playoffs in 2013 for Philly, rushed for 77 yards that time, but on 21 attempts. That's a lower yard average than the game before. And oh, you finally got a touchdown, Shady. Then 2017 in Buffalo, 1 game played, 75 rushing yards on 19 attempts, no touchdowns. 2019 for Kansas City, oh, no rushing yards, no touchdowns, no attempts. 2020 for Tampa Bay, no rushing yards, no touchdowns, no attempts. Are you telling me those rings you got, Shady, are just no more than a ring pop that you can get from your local 7-Eleven because they have no value? You didn't do anything. If your ring's weight and the amount of gold and diamonds put into your ring was determined by how much you contributed to said ring, Shady McCoy, they would have gave you a rubber band to put around your finger, bro. Now, what's funny is we're questioning Dak Prescott's playoff efficiency and who he is in the playoffs, but damn, Shady, you would think someone that gave people so much crazy work would at least have more rushing touchdowns in the playoffs than Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott has 4 rushing touchdowns in the playoffs compared to Shady McCoy's 1 rushing touchdown in the playoffs. Dak Prescott has a yard per carry average of 4.7 yards per carry in the playoffs on 25 attempts and 118 rushing yards. For reference, Shady McCoy's yards per carry was 3.9 on 57 attempts for 222 rushing yards. So, Dak Prescott, in half of the attempts, less than half of the attempts, was able to gain more than half of your rushing yardage total and 3 more rushing touchdowns, meaning he did your job better than you ever could in the playoffs, Shady. Huh, go figure. But that's not the only part of your legacy, Shady, that people really need to shine light on and understand who you are as the all-time leading rusher for the Philadelphia Eagles. Your legacy also includes a list of shady activities, including allegedly putting your hands on women, beating up off-duty police officers, throwing women off of buses after you're dousing them with water. So you see, it's funny that Lesean McCoy has so much freedom to jump on TV and talk as greasy as he does about Dak Prescott and try to bring down another man's legacy when you're throwing stones from a glass house, Shady McCoy. We see everything that you've done. We're not going to sit here and let someone with this type of past, someone who was in a legal situation because he had a woman post images of herself looking like she just got beat to a pulp, allegedly by Lesean McCoy or someone that Lesean McCoy hired to do so, drag her out the house, but you never got charges filed on you because there wasn't enough evidence. We know what that really means. You just had more money than she had at that time, and there was nothing that she could do about it. And then as an on-stander, it's easy to be like, you know what? We got to give guys the benefit of the doubt. We see women falsely accuse guys of things all the time. Yeah, except when that dude has a history of being disrespectful and disgusting towards women, like when he threw a young lady off of a party bus after spraying her and the other women with water that was inside the vehicle. He threw her off of said party bus. Very, very interesting. Another case that just so happened to get swept under the rug. And I know you're still probably like, well, you know, maybe he just likes to kick it. And it was one of the situations where the lady got kind of out of hand. Yeah, he's a shitty person. He left a 20-cent tip. Someone that's supposed to have made millions. In September of 2014, McCoy was back in the headlines facing criticism for leaving a 20-cent tip at Northern Liberty's burger joint. McCoy said he left the tip because of bad service, though the restaurant owners claims McCoy was rude to the server and had been abusive. Oh, that's 3 different situations, Lesean McCoy, where someone is accusing you of abusive and overly aggressive behavior. Oh, it doesn't stop there. Then we have in 2016, when he was in Buffalo, McCoy was said to be involved in a fight at the Recess nightclub in Old City that ended with 2 off-duty police officers being taken to the hospital. The altercation reportedly started because of a dispute over a bottle of champagne. Straight niggatry, Lesean McCoy. You are an embarrassment to us as black men, sitting on television, showcasing your level of ineptitude and your lack of knowledge and just your purebred ignorance. We all have grown up with young men like Shady McCoy in our communities, and we all try to avoid these dudes like they're the plague because we don't want their stupid or their terrible decisions to get us into any BS. Lesean McCoy, the nerve of you to sit here and try to question the legacy of one of the best leaders in Dallas Cowboys history, one of the most prolific passers in Dallas Cowboys history. Literally, the only thing he's missing is the stamp of approval from, the media, which I think will be pretty hard when we have people openly lobbying voters not to vote for players like you did, Lesean McCoy, when you encouraged Emmanuel Ocho to burn his ballot after the game against Buffalo. And it seems like since then, Dak Prescott's never really been a serious part of the conversation, in particular for you guys. So it's very interesting that you want to try to question his legacy when you guys are a large part of the reason why people even look at him and have the perception of him that they do in the first place. But the problem is Dak is finally putting some heat on y'all this year because y'all are very, very afraid that he's about to make you eat every one of your unintelligible words. Lesean McCoy. So I'll leave you guys with this. Is Dak Prescott's legacy cemented already? Has history already determined who Dak Prescott is going to be? Absolutely not. He's still playing. Unlike you, Shady McCoy, your legacy is what it is. You're an alleged woman beater with a propensity for giving extremely bad takes, showcasing your ignorance in public forums, and obviously a clear lack of discipline with yourself and those around you. I'm just tired of letting dudes who have no business even talking to us on national TV due to his sketchy past try to degrade a man who's been nothing but the perfect role model and the picture-perfect professional since he's been on one of the brightest stages since he entered the National Football League. Dak Prescott was a fourth-round quarterback who was able to come into the National Football League, win Offensive Rookie of the Year, steal a Pro Bowl quarterback's job, and go on to have a so far 8-year career that he's amassed amazing numbers in, has a passer rating that will put him at the top pantheon of quarterbacks in NFL history, and all he's missing is some playoff success. So Shady McCoy, you can take your bad takes, your bad attitude, and your sketchy history, and shut the hell up. Either way, y'all know always in these videos how them Cowboys. Take it away, Pastor.
Calling me, texting me, paging me, asking me, am I still them boys? Y'all usually check on me. Listen. I'm still them boys. Hey! Woo! Oh, shut up, my boy, shut up.